Leading the Nightline tonight, former Chief of Army Tan Sri Muhammad Hafizuddin Jantan was charged in the Sessions Court today with the 4 counts of receiving proceeds from unlawful activities amounting to more than 2.12 million ringgit. The 58-year-old pleaded not guilty after all 4 charges were read out to him before Judge Azura Alwi. He is the first Chief of Army to be charged in court in connection with money laundering cases linked to Malaysian Army procurement tenders. For the first 2 fourth charges, he was accused of receiving proceeds from unlawful activities amounting to 969,000 ringgit, 475,000 ringgit, 488,000 ringgit and 190,000 ringgit, which were deposited into 3 bank accounts belonging to the accused. The offences were allegedly committed at 3 banks at 3 different locations along Jalan Melaka, Bukit Damansara and the Federal Capital between February 2nd, 2024 and November 7th last year. Prime Minister Dato Sri Anwar Ibrahim calls on all parties to stop racial conflicts that stem from disagreements over language issues. Instead, attention should be focused on nurturing the future generation to be more competitive and united. Hence, the implementation of multiple languages in the education system is not meant to deny the position of the Malay language as a national language, but rather to strengthen national unity. Mastering multiple languages, he says, is critical in facing global challenges, especially in the current technological era.
Sebab kita tak mau lagi pertelingkahan antara kaum yang tidak berkesudahan soal bahasa. Keutamaan kita ialah untuk meningkatkan mutu pendidikan anak kita. Supaya anak-anak lulusan Perting Bentong ini juga dapat naik kedudukan mereka. Bersaing bukan saja dalam negara, di rantau ASEAN dan di dunia.
Anwar added the efforts to improve the quality of education must be seen as a national agenda that transcends racial differences. This will be done by upgrading schools with more facilities and providing further training for teachers. Differing opinions on education can be discussed diplomatically, but should not deviate from the goal of improving education as a platform for unity and for moving the country forward.
Primary 1 early enrolments are not meant to instill academic competitiveness. Rather, it considers the welfare, well-being and the readiness of students. Education Minister Fadlil Nasir says the initiative prioritizes the protection of children's rights and interests through a comprehensive assessment rather than relying solely on age factors, stressing that the initiative is not intended to turn them into guinea pigs.
Anak kita bukan untuk ujian makmal ataupun tikus makmal. Sebab itu kita tekankan bahawa dalam konteks ini kita nak bagi tumpuan kerana ia adalah dasar yang telah pun kita bincangkan, bahaskan dalam RM2.12M.
She also clarifies that the initiative is not treated as a pioneer project and says that it will be implemented in phases and voluntarily with diagnostical support.
On to the next update. Malaysia is exploring new markets in the United States for its agricultural products. During a courtesy visit in Washington, D.C., Secretary General to the Ministry of Agriculture and Food Security, Dato Sri Isham Ishak states the matter has been relayed to Michelle Beckering, the Deputy Under Secretary for Trade and Foreign Agricultural Affairs. The meeting, he says, was productive with discussions exploring on cooperation to modernize agriculture, boost productivity, strengthen food security and tackle environmental sustainability. The meeting was the latest in a series of high-level talks between Malaysia's Agriculture Ministry and the U.S. Department of Agriculture, aimed at boosting technical cooperation and mutual trust. Trade with the U.S. totaled 14.68 billion ringgit from January to September 2025, underscoring the U.S.'s role as a key partner in Malaysia's global food supply chain. The independence of the judiciary and the nation's legal system is crucial in ensuring justice can be delivered without bias, fear or favour towards any party. It should also act as a check and balance organisation on the executive while upholding the rule of law in line with the federal constitution. In line with this aspiration, Sarawak Attorney General Dato Sri Safri Ali said, the Sarawak government is committed to strengthening the independence of the judiciary and the Sharia legal system to ensure justice is upheld freely, fairly, and in accordance with the principles of the rule of law.
Safri spoke via a text speech delivered by Sarawak Senior State Counsel, Associate Professor Dr. Jadi Elias Zaidi Hasim, during the open court sitting for the opening of the Sarawak Sharia Legal Year 2026. He further says that the role of the Sarawak Attorney General's chambers in strengthening Sharia law includes the restructuring of the Sharia division, which now comprises the Sharia litigation section and the legal harmonization section, to enhance the effectiveness of service delivery.
Kewujudan bahagian syariah serta dua seksyen ini diharap dapat melancarkan urusan litigasi dan amalan tata kelola tabir urus, dan ini secara tidak langsung memastikan penyampaian perkhidmatan kamar ini berhubung dengan isu syariah di Sarawak dapat dilaksanakan dengan lebih efisien, lebih teratur, berkesan seiring dengan ketentuan semasa.
Welcome back. The 2026 Sharia Legislative Year kicked off tonight in Kuching as dignitaries and officials gather for a gala dinner at the Raya Hotel and Convention Centre. The event was officiated by Sarawak Premier Dato' Tan Sri Abang Johari Tunabang alongside Sarawak Governor Tun Bin Sri Dr. Wan Junaidi Tuanku Jaafar. And our reporter on the ground, Lorenzo Isaac, has the details. Over to you, Lorenzo.
Thank you, Cheryl Shaminato. The atmosphere here tonight is formal and highly protocol-driven as the opening of the Sharia Legal Year 2026 gets underway with a gala dinner in Kuching. The Premier Sarawak Dato' Tan Sri Abang Johari Tun Openg has arrived at the venue and is among several key figures present, including the Yang di-Pertuan Negeri Sarawak Tun Bin Sri Dr. Wan Junaidi Tuanku Jaafar and his consort. Inside the hall, the program is progressing with official protocol events, including addresses by state leaders and a video presentation summarizing the opening of the Sharia Legal Year 2026. One of the key moments tonight is the launch of the Sharia Court Journal, seen as an important step in strengthening documentation, scholarship, and judicial practice within Sarawak's Sharia court system. The evening also includes the presentation of tokens of appreciation to former panel judges of the Sarawak Sharia Court of Appeal, acknowledging their service and contributions. Overall, the gala dinner sets the tone for the new Sharia Legal Year as Sarawak moves forwards with its administration of Islamic law and judicial governance. Back to you in the studio.
Thank you, Cheryl Shaminato.
All right, thank you, Lorenzo Isaac, for the development over there. And now back on to crime development. 3 men arrested for allegedly stealing cables at the Trusan water treatment plant last Sunday have tested positive for drugs. Laos District Police Chief DSP Leong Tindan says the suspects, local residents aged 20 to 31, were detained at their homes on Jalan Trusan in Laos. Leong said in a statement that the police received a report from the public about the theft last Monday at 3:27 p.m. Part of the stolen cables were recovered, with estimated losses of nearly 47,000 ringgit. All suspects tested positive for amphetamine and methamphetamine. Record checks also revealed that one of the suspects has 5 previous cases related to drugs and criminal offences. The case is being investigated under Section 379 of the Penal Code and Section 15(1)(a) of the 1952 Dangerous Drugs Act. Members of Philippine civil society groups filed an impeachment complaint against President Ferdinand Marcos on Thursday, accusing him of systematically bulking taxpayers out of billions of dollars for bogus flood control projects. Rage over so-called ghost infrastructure projects has been building for months in the archipelago country of 116 million, where entire towns were buried in flood waters driven by powerful typhoons in the past year. The filing, endorsed by the Makabayan Bloc, a coalition of left-wing political parties, accuses Marcos of betraying the public trust by packing the national budget with projects aimed at redirecting funds to allies.
Pansinin niyo hanggang ngayon, sa dami ng pinangalanan sa Malacanang, wala ni isang nakasuhan dahil nga pinagpapalagay na sila ay pinoprotektahan mismo ng Malacanang, pinoprotektahan ng Pangulo. Dahil sa mga batayang ito, nangangailangang maghain ng isang impeachment complaint para mapanagot ang pinakamataas na opisyal ng bansa. Ito ay aming tungkulin bilang taxpayers, bilang mamamayan. Ito ay ating karapatan para panagutin ang pinakamataas na opisyal ng pamahalaan na siyempre alam natin may immunity from suit. Hindi basta-basta pwedeng kasuhan, pero pwedeng panagutin sa pamamagitan ng impeachment process.
Under the Philippine Constitution, passage of articles of impeachment in the House of Representatives triggers a Senate trial, where a guilty verdict would mean removal from office and disqualification from future public posts. A copy of the complaint was filed by petitioners at the House's Office of the Secretary General in accordance with House rules, though it was not marked as received due to the absence of top officials. Summary of the filing states the President institutionalized a mechanism to siphon over 545.6 billion pesos in flood control funds, directing them into the hands of favored cronies and contractors, as well as converting public coffers into a private war chest for the 2025 midterm elections. It also accuses the president of directly soliciting kickbacks, a charge that relies heavily on unproven allegations made by a former congressman who fled the country while under investigation. And those were the updates on TVS Nightline. I'm Shulsha Metro. Thank you for watching and have a good night.